Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. And what if I told you that Nintendo has a holiday event for the month of December? Well, they actually do, and in fact, it's quietly happening right now. So we're going to go over that today and talk about what they've already announced and also what they might be set to announce relatively soon, because there could be some exciting games on the way. Also, Xbox and Steam just got a brand new game that was previously exclusive to PlayStation, and this is a highly received game, so I think some of you all might be pretty happy about this particular announcement. Per usual, though, we do have several other things to go over today, so really, let's just go ahead and jump right into it, starting off with Sonic Frontiers. Now, this game released last month, and so far, it's had a lot of success. As we've talked about several times by this point, Sonic Frontiers is getting glowing reception from fans, as it still has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. Now, I know I keep repeating that and everything, but I still like reminding you all, just in case somebody didn't know. And that's part because I think critics failed this game, much in the same way they did with High on Life. We, of course, talked about that yesterday, but seriously, games like these, I mean, it makes fans question critics and their point of view. But nonetheless, Sonic Frontiers has also sold 2.5 million copies worldwide. So, I mean, it's been a commercial success as well. Here's the thing, though. If you are on the fence when it comes to this game, and especially with the Nintendo Switch version, considering its performance struggles a little more on there, but the good news here is that Sega dropped a new playable demo that you can check out right now. This demo, as of this moment, is only available on the Switch, though it does include the first 15 minutes of the game. So the idea here is that should give you a relative idea as to how this game performs on the Switch. I mean, obviously, it's not going to run as good as other platforms, and that's really kind of the thing here, because regardless if you play on a PC, the PlayStation 5, or even the Xbox Series X, all versions of this game does have pop-in. Now, I've been playing on the PlayStation 5 myself, and I think the pop-in is a little exaggerated. It's definitely there, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's really as bad as some people make it out to be. That's all I'm trying to say here. But as for the Switch, that might be a little bit of a different story, and that's where this demo comes in. So if you are on the fence, definitely go check out that Sonic Frontiers demo on the Nintendo eShop. Now, we also got some news for you Digimon fans out there, myself included. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for this franchise, as I grew up watching the anime and everything. But they did announce a Digimon event that gamers might want to pay attention to. You can see over here where they say Digimon Con is on, going out to Digimon fans worldwide, streaming on YouTube on February 12th, 2023. Now, the first thing that stood out to me here is that this is a worldwide event. It's not just in Japan, meaning they have something to announce that everybody can be excited for. Really, though, that could be a number of different things. But that's what's kind of interesting here, because they've already laid out exactly what will be there. They also posted this on their website showing all of the different content, and there's one specific detail that stands out. It clearly says, Games, New Game Information. Now, on one side, this could be a brand new game, and I mean, that's what I'm hoping to see. Digimon Survive, of course, released earlier this year, and I thought it was a good game. It might not necessarily have been what everybody was expecting, being more of a visual novel style of game, but as a Digimon fan myself, I personally thought it was one of the better games for the franchise. The story was really good, and it made you feel like you were a part of the anime. I think a show of that could actually work, to be honest. I wouldn't mind if they announced something like that, but it would be nice to see what's next for the franchise in terms of gaming. To be fair, though, I think it's also important to point out that Digimon World Next Order is also coming over to the Nintendo Switch on February 22nd, so do kind of keep that in mind as well. There's not necessarily a guarantee that this game information that they're teasing here is in regards to a brand new title. Either way, though, if you are a Digimon fan, you might want to keep an eye on this event, and again, it will be on February 12th of 2023. Next up, Hideo Kojima continues to tease Death Stranding 2. Now, I know a lot of people are pretty excited about that one. Of course, he confirmed its existence at the Game Awards, but that initial trailer was cryptic, to say the least. In typical fashion, Kojima left fans guessing as to what this game will be. And that continues on here as he talks about Death Stranding 2 on his latest Brain Structure podcast, where he said this: This is a sequel, so it's my second time working with Norman, and the technology has really improved over the last 3 years. Things that were impossible before are now possible. So we have been really challenging ourselves. It's not just a regular sequel in that sense. I can't say much yet. I believe a lot of people like Sam, and I'm hoping those people return to DS2. And in order to appeal to people who didn't play the first one, I've made the game nostalgic, but also new. I can't say any more than that right now. So to me, the way I look at this comment is that this is not just a straight up sequel where it's basically going to be the same thing. It of course will share the same world, which I think is absolutely fascinating. It'll have some of the same characters, but there's going to be some key differences. To me, I really wouldn't be shocked if they try a completely new style of gameplay. Instead of it being this quote-unquote walking simulator, this one might be a little bit more action-driven. Again, I wouldn't be surprised by that. If you try to break his comment down here, though, you can kind of guess as to what he's teasing. First, he notes that technology has improved and things that were impossible before are now possible. More than likely, he's probably talking about the PlayStation 5 and some of the things that it can do. There's, of course, the new controller that I'm sure he's going to play around with. He could have some unique ideas there. Then it's got an SSD and obviously just more raw power. He also specifically mentions Sam and bringing him back, trying to make things feel nostalgic, but for new players, he's also, in his words, trying to make things feel new. To me, that almost kind of sounds like there might be another protagonist involved rather than it just being Sam. So there's multiple ways that you can make this game feel different, but again, I really wouldn't be surprised if he's also teasing a new gameplay style. Okay, so let's go and talk about Nintendo as they quietly have an event happening right now. Yeah, I haven't seen much buzz over this online, but I think this is actually quite interesting in how they have this set up. Typically, what Nintendo likes to do is they have their Nintendo Directs where they showcase a ton of games in about a 20 to 30 minute span. But instead here, Nintendo was spreading those announcements across a 5-day period leading up to the holidays. They're calling this Inside the House of Indies holiday event, where every single day they showcase a brand new set of games at noon Eastern Time that's coming to the Switch. They're doing this daily until December 23rd, and they've already posted their first 2 showcases. They're both about 5 minutes long, where they announce 4 games apiece. I actually really like this, though, as it gives each game plenty of time to shine, and plus, you're not overloaded with just a ton of games all at once like your typical Nintendo Direct. So they're spreading things out a lot better here, in my opinion, and with that in mind, if they do continue the same trend, we should get 12 more game announcements over the next 3 days. I'll come back to that here in just a second. But first, let's go over some of the games that they've already announced. So for the first day, they revealed Floppy Knights version 2.0, which you can play right now. This is like a turn-based tactics style of game combined with card battles. It's an interesting little combo, and you can now play that on the Switch, and on top of that, it is 20% off until January 1st. Yeah, nice little early bird discount there. They also announced Roman Sands Rebuild. Now, this is supposed to be some type of first-person narrative adventure game. They describe it as a philosophical journey where you'll navigate an unwavering caste system set to a backdrop of the apocalypse and find connection and meaning in the midst of an ecological disaster as players are thrown into 2 distinct games across a variety of genres, encompassing 3 acts of one overarching narrative. So it sounds like a unique game on paper, and it will be out in summer of 2023. Paparazzi is also coming over to the Switch in early 2023. Basically, you take pictures of dogs for social media. It's not really my style of game per se, but hey, it is coming over to the Switch. The big surprise for day one, though, was Immortal Shell Complete Edition. Not only did they announce it for the Switch, but it also got a shadow drop. Yeah, you can actually play this game right now, and as long as its performance holds up, this is a great inclusion for the Nintendo Switch. It's often compared to Souls-likes, and a very good one at that. Definitely one of the better Souls-likes from a company not named From Software. So if you're in a mood for that type of game, it might be a nice holiday pickup. As for day 2, I think they stepped things up just a notch above that with a few new interesting titles, starting off with The Gecko God. This is like a 3D puzzle platformer where you play as a gecko. It almost kind of reminds me a little bit of Snake Pass. Not really in the style of gameplay, but in the essence that you play the role as a reptilian creature and can see the world through their eyes. I actually think that this one looks interesting and will be out sometime in 2023. They then revealed The Captain, which is some type of side-scrolling adventure. I'm not entirely sure what this game is, but they do say that you race across the galaxy, collect new friends on your journey, make new enemies, and you'll have to decide who to bring along with you and who to leave behind. Again, I'm not really sure about this one, but if anything, this game is already available on Steam, where 93% of all users recommend it, so that's a pretty good sign there. If anything, maybe go check out some of the Steam reviews for some more information and see if this game is for you. It also got a shadow launch, though, so it is available on a Switch right now. They also announced Risk of Rain Returns. I know a lot of people enjoyed the first game, and they're saying with Risk of Rain Returns, it is a remake of the classic roguelike. Apparently we'll have new features, updated visuals, and all that. So if you do like the roguelike genre, which is growing as of recent, or if you enjoyed the original game, keep an eye on this one, as it is slated for a 2023 release. The final game that they showed, though, which might quietly be the most interesting new title here, is a game coming from the Fast RMX and Taurus Studio. They announced their next game being Punchin', and I think that this game actually looks like it could end up being an absolute blast, much like some of their other games. It almost looks like a mix of Tetris with a boxing penguin. I know that sounds strange, everything, but I guess it's like this puzzle platformer, and it even includes multiplayer. Genuinely, I do think that this game might be worth checking out. And once again, the cool thing here is that, yes, you can play it right now. So I do think the first 2 days of this event has gone pretty well. They've announced several interesting games already, and there's also a good chance that they're saving the best for last. That's kind of the thing here, though, because there's two specific games that I know a lot of people are asking about. One, of course, is Hollow Knight Silksong. We ask ourselves about this game with every single indie event. Where is Hollow Knight Silksong? Well, maybe they might announce the release date here. Possibly. Probably not, but still, I mean, I think it's worth keeping an eye on. And then, as for this other one, which I'm fairly confident will be announced, is Sports Story. That game is supposed to release sometime this month, and I imagine this will be the perfect place to reveal its release date with a possible shadow launch. As always, though, I will keep you all updated as we hear more about this event throughout the week. On to our final topic of the day, though. A highly praised PlayStation exclusive is now heading over to Xbox and Steam, being the martial arts brawler Sifu. This game released earlier this year in February, and it's often regarded as one of the best independent games to release this generation. I mean, I guess we got a lot of good news for you indie fans out there today, though at the very least, Sifu is one of the better independent games that's released this year, no doubt about it. It was nominated as the best indie game at the Game Awards, so I think with all that in mind, it's great news to hear it's now heading over to other platforms. When will that be, though? Now, there's no exact release date as of yet, but it is slated for a March release. And for those that's waited patiently, you're actually being rewarded here with some brand new content. Of course, this content will also be available on PlayStation, so do keep that in mind. But on day one, both Xbox and Steam will get access to a brand new game mode, being its Arena mode, where you'll have new challenges that you can put your skills to the test. And I think that right there will make an already good game even better. I mean, this game takes about 9 to 10 hours to complete on average, but with this extra mode here, I mean, you can really get the most out of this game. The thing about Sifu, though, is that this is a challenging game, but when it originally launched, if you remember right, there was some pushback online where some fans, they wanted it to be more accessible. Personally, I'm all for games being challenging myself, but regardless of what I think, there were some fans out there that wanted an easier mode, more or less. Slowcap, well, they did actually listen. They did eventually put an update out that includes that requested easy mode. So I think with that in mind, its second launch here on new platforms could actually end up being more rounded. It probably won't deal with that same controversy that we saw earlier this year. So, you know, that first launch week, you know, it is incredibly important. So maybe we'll see a lot more buzz this time around that's not surrounded by controversy at the same time. Either which way, though, if you have been waiting for Sifu, do keep an eye on March. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though, where I asked you all, do you like the idea of an additional cheaper tier for Xbox Game Pass that has ads and some limitations? And I was genuinely surprised by the results here because, as you can see, the majority of you all actually said no. 51% of you said no, while 38% of you said yes. I was very surprised by that because, you know, as I said yesterday, I'm for this because it's really just an additional tier. It's not going to replace Xbox Game Pass as is. It's just going to be a cheaper option if more people want to jump in. So if you don't want ads or those specific limitations, then you can just kind of stick with the current Xbox Game Pass model or something like Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So when I look at this, I'm just thinking that this cheaper tier could bring in more consumers that doesn't want to spend that $10 a month or $15 a month, depending on which one you subscribe to. I personally think that more options that is budget friendly, I view that as a good thing. And kind of looking through the comments, I didn't really see a lot of people explain why they said no. I'm very interested as to the reason here. I did see one response kind of say that they were worried that if this has success, then maybe it could leak into other monetization models. You know, maybe a free-to-play game says, hey, that's having success, why don't we try it as well? And okay, that's actually a sound reason. Maybe that could actually happen. But yeah, again, I'm just going to kind of go back to the more options part. As long as these ads aren't included into other models, then I mean, I'm all for more options. But I mean, it does look like the majority of you all are not liking this idea. So yeah, very interesting. Anyways, that's it for this episode. But if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.